You are now rocking with the queen, and it's time to get real.
What's up? It's your girl AB, and this is another episode of 30, Flirty, and Thriving, TFT, and I'm here today with Dre Butterz, the conductor.
What's poppin'?
What's good? So, you do everything in music, right? You're a producer, songwriter, singer. You've worked on a ton of different projects with people in Detroit, outside of Detroit. You've produced records with like Ray J, and talk to me about first of all, how long have you been doing music?
I've been doing music since I was 5. Beating on pots and pans at grandma's house with mama, encouraging it. Playing in the church since I was like 10. Pretty much organ, keyboard, drums, bass guitar.
So you're a true musician. You play instruments, you do everything. You got involved, obviously, just the sounds, being a child, and then being in the church, obviously, growing up with that. At what point did you realize you wanted to maybe follow this as your profession?
When I was playing in church, it was sort of kind of like I was already getting paid to do it. It's pretty much. So it was really nothing else that I really had a desire to do except music and a few other things I had in mind, but it was just like, it was already like set up for me pretty much. Both sides of my family do music, so.
So it was always music. There was never really a plan B. No. It was just always going to be music, one way, shape, or form. Yeah. And obviously you knew you were good with making different sounds and things like that. At one point, did you realize that you had other talents? You started finding your voice or started finding the ability to produce and getting into the business side of music?
That happened maybe in my 20s. I'll be 37.
Okay, I was going to say, you got to give us some context because you look like you could still be in your 20s. So.
Yeah, I'm 37 going on 19. That's what I'm telling everybody, all right? You know what I'm saying? No, I'm talking junk, but yeah, probably in my 20s. I was playing for a church on the east side, and it was just a compelling feeling. Like, it was just like I was empty. Like, I love music, but I felt empty, and it was just like I was at church one day just playing like, I love God, I love music, and it was just like, but what I do at home, I wanted to do more of, and I felt like, man, I want to stay up Saturday nights and record, you know what I'm saying, and just create, and then I wasn't able to do it because I had to be, you know, at church. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, at that time, it was like I was doing everything: mass choir, women's choir, children's choir, men's choir, praise team. And it was just a lot of responsibility. So my whole week was tied up with that. And then I kind of just made a decision like, you know, I want to do this. I want to be a music producer. I want to record an artist, you know what I mean? So
what does that mean for people who are just getting into the music business or just are trying to learn more and don't really understand? What exactly does a music producer do? Like, what's the difference between a music producer and a sound engineer or some other, you know, or other positions or professions?
I consider a producer somebody who has a vision and sees it through, pretty much. Because a producer doesn't necessarily have to touch an instrument or, you know, because we got, like, I know producers who just put things together. You may have a beat that they may get from me. They may buy a beat, and then they say, I want to put these 2 artists on there, put the artists on there. They go get it mixed, mastered, put it out as their own record, which is considered producing.
Right. You know what I mean? So you could essentially, I mean, you could make the beat because you do that as well. So you put together a beat and then you're like, ooh, do you know who would sound good on this beat? This artist and this artist. Yeah. And then I want to add a little bit of this. Yeah. Do you do sound engineering or do you bring in a sound engineer? So you do everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
So was it just a matter of you loving music so much that when you started doing it, you just started doing everything? It was just like a master of all trades because you was just in it and maybe you didn't have the resources to get a sound engineer? Did you even know what you was doing at the time when you started doing sound engineering or producing?
I didn't know exactly what I was doing. but I knew what I wanted to do
Right.
and what I wanted it to sound like, because I was obviously inspired by, different artists.
What are some of your biggest inspirations?
The Dream, Kanye West, Kendrick Lamar. He was like a real, like, that's what really Kendrick Lamar, when I heard the sound of, was that Swimming Pools? I was like, wow, how did they do that? I was just like, I got to figure it out. So I purposed in my mind, like, I'm just going to learn how to do everything from top to bottom. So I wouldn't have to depend on nobody else and I wouldn't have to wait on nobody else. And then I can just pretty much just be be a product, you know what I mean?
Right.
Of what I want to hear, you know what I'm saying, myself. So
That's dope. That's dope. So basically, I feel like a lot of people get into music and they start doing stuff. They don't know that they're actually producing a record. They don't know that it's called sound engineering, what they're doing. They're just doing it because they love music. They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So a lot of what I try to do with the podcast on bringing people like yourself on is to help educate. I feel like there's so many really talented artists out here who don't understand the business of music or don't understand the terminology, just don't understand anything but their passion, really, and their ability. So that's why I'm like, I ask questions like, what exactly is a producer? There's a lot of people who don't know what a producer does. When was it that you started learning some of those things? Like early in your career where you got to, networking with other people in the industry or?
Yeah, most definitely. I knew what producing was pretty much. And then it does get a little technical because you do have, like, when you're working with artists, even when you're working with artists too, like, I didn't know that I was doing artist development. I had no clue. I'm like, no, let's do it like this. No, let's do the breathing technique. And just like, even with that, like, so just getting into it and then learning the terminology as I got around other producers, other credited producers or successful producers. It's like, no, this is what this is and this is what that is. I'm like, oh, okay. And a lot of it, definitely pretty much you be doing
Right.
and implement it, and you just don't know the terminology, like you
Exactly. So, like I said earlier, you've worked with a lot of different artists. You've done a lot of different things. I mean, you've been out here, and not just in Detroit. But tell me, like, how did you start kind of getting those connections and learning how to connect with some of the more, I guess, widely known artists to work with them?
I pretty much purposed it in my mind that I would. And I've always had a thought that I would make it. I don't know what that would mean to anybody, but it was just a thing. Like yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, and then pretty much the stars kind of aligned. And still, in my journey, it's still amazing to look back and see. It was just certain key people that that kind of just encouraged me as well, because it's not like anybody that's doing this for real. Anything that you're doing, like even what you're doing, is not easy. It's not an easy thing. It's ups and downs and twists and turns, and you're frustrated with yourself. You know what I'm saying? But it was I'm gonna say it was great people in my life that encouraged me and seen me, foreseen me in my future. You know what I mean? So
Detroit has a very distinct sound. That, and everybody, I mean, you can tell when somebody's from Atlanta, you can tell when somebody's from the East Coast, but for whatever reason, Detroit sound has almost like pigeonholed it into being just like Midwest kind of known. And that's why like the Atlanta stuff can blow up and, the East Coast can blow up. What do you think it is? And not to say that the Detroit sound, it's like almost people are intimidated by it, just like they're intimidated by Detroit. But what do you think it is about that Detroit swagger, that Detroit sound that makes it so distinctive or so different from everything else that's out?
I think it was like our culture here is really like serious. Like people are serious about it. Like, you know what I mean? Even from the sounds that they use and the glasses, the Cartier glasses, from the what you call the boots, the gator boots and the mink coats and all that stuff. So I believe it plays a role in the music as far as culture and artists that have paved the way I mean, just in the city, you know what I mean? And I'm really proud of how it's really taken over mainstream now. It's like amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's like, hold on, you ain't from Detroit. Why you got them, why your beats that fast?
Right.
Okay, I see how y'all doing it. Yeah.
Right, because they're trying to emulate that sound.
Yeah, most definitely.
But I feel like Detroit doesn't get all the credit like they should.
Yeah, most definitely. Nah,
They try to act like it came from somewhere. No. That's Detroit for sure. But you've been working on a lot of stuff, obviously over the last couple of years, and then COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
How did COVID change, or did it change anything for you?
It really didn't slow up anything. It like I kind of had a positive outlook on it. I was like, maybe this is a time for me to create what I've been wanting to create, because sometimes things start moving so fast, and then like I try to keep up with what everybody likes, you know what I mean? Because like, of course, you're dealing with different artists, so I was like, I like this, so I'm doing this particular thing. It was really a time to where I can just be my authentic self as far as where I was creatively.
So you was just in the studio then?
Yeah, I was working.
Working.
And a lot came from it. And my heart goes out to all the families that suffered, from it, with their family, you know what I mean? But I feel like at this time, it was the time I just knew that this was the time for all of the creators, all of the people who wanted to become successful within and millionaires financially. This was the time to really like have your time to do it and really go within and figure it out.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a time that we needed to either, if we haven't had that foundation already set the foundation. If the foundation was there, then to really, like you said, internalize, dig deep, and let those creative juices flow and start just coming up with ideas and different things. So I think the people who did that, like yourself, is going to pay off in the long run. If it's not already, So tell me, what does your creative process look like? Is this something that you get into the studio, you just locked in the zone, or is it you driving down the road and something comes to you, you got to put what does that look like for you?
It's pretty much blank canvas every time. I have no idea. I love that process because I'm always surprised thank God, of the gifts that God gives to me, even in the moment. Sometimes I play stuff back like, wow, this is how I want to sound. And then it's all credit to God, you know what I mean? But I can create from anything, pretty much from anything, and it's a blessing to be able to do that.
Awesome. So earlier we talked about some of your influences, and you said, the dream. Let me ask you, what are some people that you hope to work with in the future that you're really looking forward to?
Stevie Wonder. I want to work with Charlie Wilson.
I can see that. That would be dope.
Yeah, most definitely. I want to work with Dude, too. I want to work with Roddy, Dope Cat. Who else, man? There's so many, just dope artists. SZA, Summer Walker. T-Pain. I want to do a project with T-Pain, see how that come out. Have some fun.
What are some of the most exciting projects that you've worked on this time, or just pieces of work that you're extremely proud of for whatever reason?
A lot of stuff from here, actually. Working with the Work That Gang with Sino, BJ, and G Baby, and Brian Hamilton, and Kevo Hendricks. We just have a ball every time we create, and we are all just different people, and it's just amazing to see how we create together, because it's just the pieces just come together every time. There's never a time that we in the studio that it doesn't happen. So
now, for somebody who's coming up and maybe is already involved in church, doing music in church, or maybe they in the choir at school, or they just have found themselves beating pot and pans or writing songs and they don't really know where it comes from. What advice would you give to them? Like just starting out, being absolutely clueless to the business, to the terminology, to the industry, to really even their own talent and what they're doing, but they've got that passion. What advice would you give them?
Study. If you have, even study yourself. If you find out what you love to do, if you find yourself smiling when you're doing it, you know what I mean, then that means you have some type of connection to it, in my perception. So I would say study. As far as the business, definitely study and read, so you can have a perspective of exactly what you need to do. Because some books and stuff, they have, different perspectives, like but you need to know the publishing side. What is my publishing? My writers. You need to understand splits, stuff like that. Because that's how you get paid.
Do you feel like an artist who just, I guess, is making music, I want to say as a hobby, but they're just making music and they don't really know what they're doing as far as a business yet. Do you feel that they need a manager, or does a manager come later after they have a career to manage?
I mean, it can come from either direction, because for me, I'm thinking like learning with somebody is not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you can have a manager before, you actually have a career, or of course, after it hits, you're going to have everybody coming at you. Oh, can I be a manager? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, I mean, either way, but I would, growing with somebody is, for me, it's been the best.
So having a manager to grow with you and to learn together the what makes sense for your career and what's going on in the industry and the business and stuff like that.
Yeah, most definitely.
So what are you working on right now? Or like for the people who are just, you've been creating for a whole year, you've been in this so what have you been working on, or what can we look forward to in the coming months or years?
We've really been working on Brooklyn Queen, shout out B&B Records. She's really been a phenomenal artist. Superstar, 15 years old. We've really been working on building her catalog with Mr. B&B, so that she can just, because she's growing as an artist and growing as into a young lady as well. So it's just like, it's an amazing thing to see her come from here to here. It's just like, wow. And it's exciting, because to be a part of somebody's career at that age, and then to know that, where she is now, it's like, it's just, the possibilities are endless. So pretty much been working on her project. Of course, we got some stuff coming out. I'm working on my own personal project as well, which I will be releasing 2021. It's a bunch of major artists that I got placements with that's coming out too, 2021, and I'll definitely keep everybody posted. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, so for artists who maybe want to work with you, or just in general, we'll get to that, but just if an artist is, online, on Instagram, coming across different people they want to work with, what's the best way for them to approach you, or for them to approach someone that they want to work with? Is there a right or a wrong way?
I don't think it's a right or a wrong way. I mean, I will say this, pretty much, you want to assist people that you want to work with. If you have a desire to work with them, you want to be able to assist them. So I would, I know I will come at them like, hey, what can I do to help you further your career? Just to, you know what I mean?
So slide in your inbox with this is the hottest record you'll ever hear. Listen to it. You gotta. That's not it.
That's not it. I mean, it could be it for some people, but for me, in my perspective, I see it all the time, and I'm like, you click on it, and it's just like, you get disappointed sometimes. So, and I'm not saying, because I'm I'm a fan of anybody who's doing what they believe they should be doing. You know what I mean? So, but
offering value is the best
Yeah.
way to approach it.
there we go. Yeah.
Maybe, okay, so
You said it
offering
better
value.
than I said it.
Like, hey, I'm working on something. I think, you know, you could add a great touch to it. It might be able to help add some versatility to you, whatever, but something add value to whoever you're approaching.
Yeah, most definitely.
Is there anything else that you want to like add?
I mean, I just encourage everybody that's doing what they're doing to keep doing what you're doing. If you believe in it, believe in yourself. There's gonna be some trials. There's gonna be some complications, but in those times are that when you have those times, excuse my language, but in that time is where the value is. That's where the growth is, the pain, the struggle, the journey. Because when you get there, it's like you just gonna be there. You know what I mean? So you want to appreciate everything, every part of your life, good, bad, sour, happy, sad. So all artists out there, entrepreneurs, whatever you're doing, working 9 to 5, just keep going, keep living.
Okay, so if people want to find you, follow you, see what you're doing, watch out for everything you dropping in 2021, how can they find you?
Hit me up on Instagram, Dre Butterz 313, DREBUTTERZ 313. Hit me up.
And if they want to listen to your stuff, I'm assuming you're on Apple Music, Spotify, under Dre Butterz, right?
Yeah.
Dre Butterz everywhere.
Yeah, Dre Butterz on everything, iTunes, yeah, and subscribe to my YouTube channel too, Dre Butterz, DREBUTTERZ.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been great talking to you and learning more about your story. I had no idea you've been doing music since you were 5. That's dope. I love it. I love when people start in the church. I think it's a great place to start. So thank you so much.
Thank you.